Spring is in the air, and that means in Florida that pretty soon it's getting too warm to be outdoors. Today we're going to make some thumbnail sketches of the neighborhood to see on which idea we're going to work a little bit longer. This is all outdoor stuff. It's not from photographs. So make a couple of, let's say 6 thumbnail sketches of a subject that you would like to work on a little bit longer. Then get your chair, your bug spray, your hat, and all the things we talked about. And then go outside and sit with the hatching and the cross hatching like we practiced on still lifes and our interior, to do the same thing now for the outdoor drawing. First I start in pencil, very lightly, because I still want to be able to course correct here and there. Then I'm going to add a little very thin micron and outline everything. And then almost at the same time, I start hatching and cross hatching and see what I want to have dark and what I want to have light. Now remember, when you're outside, the sun plays a big role because it will move. And what you first see as a strong value all of a sudden changes. It either disappears or becomes even stronger. So, and you don't know that. Check which time you are going outside. And if it changes too much, try to go the next day to do a little bit more. And then every day for, I would say, not more than an hour. An hour is really max, and then the sun has changed so dramatically that something is different. Let's do a little bit each day, so you're also not overwhelmed, because once you're outside, you have the trees, you have the buildings, you have the shadows, you have people, probably. And I would suggest the first day you set it up in pencil. The second day you correct your pencil. The third day you make an outline of your drawing, and so on. Because now your fresh eyes really are fresh early on in the process. When you go back to it, you see things differently. See, the windows here do have a vanishing point. We don't know where that vanishing point is, but I didn't start like that. I looked at the negative spaces, like I'm hatching right now. That's a negative space. The distance between the roof is smaller than close up. So that's how you start with seeing how the lines of the perspective really are. So you don't have to know about perspective to see perspective. And all I'm teaching is to learn to see the negative spaces so you can make an estimate of the perspective. But also analytically know that there is such a thing as a vanishing point. And it is on the horizon, and the horizon is on your eye level. So all these things come into play. You see how I'm doing the trees? All of a sudden there's no straight lines, there's an organic shape. Outline the trees in a playful manner. Make it fun too to do all this. You don't have to draw every leaf, of course, that would drive you crazy. But make squint and see where the darkest darks in the tree are. And very often that is at the bottom, because the sun is over our head. So it casts a shadow at the bottom of the tree. There's more trees, so the taller trees have a bigger shadow, etc., etc. That's how you're going to build up your drawing. Again, don't don't sit there for 3 or 4 hours, because you will get so confused without knowing. Because first of all, you think, oh, I'm doing a good job, which you probably are. But then without you knowing, everything has changed. And you don't realize your confusion until it's too late. So I'll almost set your alarm clock and say, okay, not more than an hour. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow. And do it like that. Look at all these negative shapes I'm drawing right now. The windows are negative shapes. And the relationships between the door and other windows, you can almost measure. You definitely can measure the distance. And we learned how to measure, if you forgot or you never really understood how that goes. Please ask me again, because then we'll do another session on measuring. The trees themselves might be very overwhelming, but then you can also make a close-up study of how the leaves separately actually go. So one site, one view might give you enough ammunition to be busy for a long time. You can take the leaves, the branches inside of the house, check for bugs, and then study a leaf, study a branch, see how the shadow is. And with that knowledge, you then can much easier see that also without having to bring the leaves inside of the house. Of course, you can make it as detailed as you wish, with a very fine micron. You can make like a lot of different values. If you have a thicker micron, you can use it more for the foreground, or to make strong lines on the shadows, like for example on the roof. That is your artistic freedom and your capability to learn how to deal with all the details of microns and watercolor pencil. I did not add that to this, but you definitely can. And I would suggest you start with it to roughly bring in the values. Don't make it too dark, because then you can go over it with your micron once it's dry. And that gives a very lively image. So yeah, I'm curious to see what you're building, what your handwriting is, because now you're going to show how you're going to do it. This is how I do it. You can copy it, but you don't have to. You can make your own thing. So yeah, I'm curious to see what you're building. Good luck with it.